Hey, and welcome back to the channel. Today I would like to talk a little bit about board breakers in the current format. Um, of course, currently you cannot play really hand traps in the Purrely deck because you don't have enough space to play enough hand traps. So, in my opinion, that's only my opinion, you can't play real hand traps like Ash, like Veiler in the Purrely deck. But if you think hand traps are good, if you say, yo, when I draw every time an Ash Blossom and an Veiler, I win always the game, so do it. That's only my opinion, but I think you cannot play the most hand traps. You can play, of course, Lancia and Droll because they are very impactful and you can draw into these with Sleepy Memory. But the other hand traps, the real hand traps, I think are unplayable right now in the Purrely deck since a few formats. But yeah, let's go into the Boardbreaker. You have currently in this format two decks you have to prepare for. You have Mitsurugi and you have Melis. Um, there are a lot of other matchups like Mermel, Memento, some Fiendsmith, but in the most cases you play against Melis and Mitsurugi, and I think Mitsurugi is more popular right now than Melis. So I think you have to play board breakers that are good against both of these decks. You cannot play some board breakers. They are bad against Mitsurugi or useless against Melis. So you have to prepare for both decks, and the breakers should deal very good with both of these decks. And let's start with bad board breakers, and that is every card that tributes the opponent's monsters. This is Garmisil, Lava Golem, Sphere Mode, Kurikara. All these are, in my opinion, very bad. Because against Mitsurugi, you can, of course, tribute 1 or 2 or 3 or even the whole board. But the problem is, the Mitsurugi card have an effect. If this card is tribute, you can add one Mitsurugi card from your deck and special summon this card. So the Amino or the what it's called Futso special summon it back, and when they have one of these guys and Futso and can revive the Murakumo even later. So all these are unplayable in my opinion. And against Melis, they do basically nothing. You could tribute something like Crypta, but they can banish Crypta with the Marshare or with Whitebinder and special summon it back, and yeah, these are does basically nothing. Do basically nothing here against both of these matchups. The next bad example, in my opinion, is evenly matched. Because when you play something against Mitsurugi Raizo, there can have, I'm not sure, can Hope, Harbinger, negate traps. No, only spells, but this doesn't matter. Because in the worst case for the Mitsurugi player, their chain detonator to your evenly to pop itself, chain the quick spell to tribute Amino, and your chain resolves. He keeps one card, and both of these cards special summon itself back because Mitsurugi because it's tributed, and Detonator because of Twin of Eclipse, and you don't have in battle phase, and in Purrely the battle phase is very impactful and you need the battle phase. So this card does basically nothing against Mitsurugi, in my opinion. And against Malice, it's the same. You can clear 1, 2, 3 cards, but this doesn't matter. When you lose your battle phase, that is not a good trade. And now we can start with playable board breakers. The first is Ultimate Slayer. Against Mitsurugi Raizul, you can send something like the aggregator and spin the detonator, and can also negate a card on the field. So this is a very good trade. You need breaker that trades alone with more than one card. Every 1-for-1 trade as a breaker is not worth, in my opinion. And with Slayer, you deal with the detonator, with the Twins of Eclipse is material, and you can negate something like IP or the Amino, but yes, the quick spell. So in the most cases, you have IP, I think. So Slayer is not bad. And against Malice, you can spin and link monsters. You can trigger your Tri-Brigade Arms Bucephalus to send Kahura and draw a card. And sometimes you shut down the MTP banish. So Slayer deals with more than one card, and you can draw one card. So that's enough, and Slayer is worth to play, in my opinion. And yeah, now I have Dark Ruler. And Dark Ruler deals always with the whole monster lineup of your opponent. Against Mitsurugi, can deal with Detonator plus Twins of Eclipse because he cannot chain this. Deals, with Amino, but he can later tribute this one, special summon itself, and then can use the effect. But there's also sometimes an IP or an Hope Harbinger. And so Dark Ruler deals with more than one card, and that should be enough for a breaker. Against Malice, it's not very great. Sometimes they end on the Bombay Dragon, and you could shout down the Bombay Dragon because it's really annoying. They can end on the Code Talker, and you should shut down at least one negate. So in my opinion, because Dark Ruler is, I think, very good against Mitsurugi Raizul, and at least in 1-for-1 trade against Malice, makes Dark Ruler playable, in my opinion. Some Mitsurugi Raizul decks plays also Fiendsmith. So there's an Caesar or Desiree, and Dark Ruler can negate this card too. So I think Dark Ruler is not bad right now. The next breaker is Lightning Storm, and Harpy's Feather Duster is pretty the same because it deals with all the back row. And against Malice, in the most cases, they have 3 or 4 sets. It's like MTP, is like GWC, and even some Solems, Imperm, or the other Impulse. Maybe they set Impulse because they had an in Light, Earth, or Wind hand trap in hand, and Lightning Storm and Duster deals with all of them. And against Mitsurugi, you can force the quick spell. That means you force the board wipe of Murakumo, because he cannot tribute this Murakumo again. So in this case, these cards are also trade with more than one card, and this is very important. Sometimes against Malice you can even call Monster with Lightning Storm, and this is not bad. So yeah, that's why I think Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster are, yeah, not bad breaker right now. Um, when you play against something like Mermail, I think Dark Ruler is not bad because they end on the statue, and some Cheng Ying or, yeah, whatever plays, and Dark Ruler you can shut down a lot of interruptions and the barrier statue, and this is important. So against Mermail, Dark Ruler is not bad. I think Slayer's a little bit worse, because when they don't end on an XC, you cannot send Slayer. You cannot send Aggregator with Slayer to negate the barrier statue, and sometimes the monster cannot be targeted. So Slayer is not very good against Mermaid. Evenly matched, and Lightning Storm and Duster are not bad against Memento, I think. I'm not 100% familiar with Memento, but they have the Fusion set, the Field Spell, Bone Party, and this, when your back row removal cards resolves against something like Memento, it's very impactful. But let's go to the next breaker, and this is Salesman. Against Mitsurugi, you can call the Amino, and this says basically declare one card name. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same original name as the declared card. That means you can declare Murakumo, and he cannot use the board wipe effect. And the board wipe effect is very powerful, and you have to keep it in mind. So Salesman is not very bad, and you also can declare Detonator. He could chain Detonator and pop itself, but this doesn't matter, because that's not how the card works. Your opponent cannot use even some Detonator again, cannot use Detonator in this turn. Also neat with Salesman is you can use it going first, but I don't recommend it. You can use it and call something like Draw and Lockbird. When you see in your opening hand, yo, I lose to Draw and Lockbird, so call it, and you are safe from this card. Or like Impulse, when you see that you lose exactly to this card. But in the most cases, I think this is very bad, because you don't know if your opponent has the specific card you called, and this is a -1. Maybe it feels okay when you call draw and he hasn't roll, but I think that this is a very bad interaction to call something your opponent could have. Yeah, but when your side tank patterns are maybe not perfect and you have to keep this going first, it's an option. The next breaker is kind of funny. It's Foolish Burial Goods. Why is Foolish Burial Goods a breaker? I think it's a very good breaker, to be honest, because against it's because of the targets, of course. And the first target is Blackout, and against Malice, you can send the Twin Saw, or let's start with Blackout. You can send Blackout and banish it from your graveyard, and you can call Crypta when they maybe end only on Crypta because you use something like Fuvalos or so. You can call Crypta, but in the most cases, I think you call Whitebinder, because the interruption are the interruptions starts with the Whitebinder banish. So to call Whitebinder with this card is stops a lot of interruptions. But the more specific but better target is Twinsaw. You can send it with Foolish, and in the graveyard, you can. Here, if a link 3 or higher monster is on the field, you can banish this card from a graveyard for the rest of this turn. Neither player can activate the effects of link monsters on the field. Malice player ends always on a Malice monster, on Bomber Dragon, on the Code Talker. There are a lot of cards. They always have any link 3 or higher monster, so this card is always alive. When they have the Code Talker, of course you have to bait out this interruptions because this card can negate your Foolish or can negate your Twinsaw. Maybe you have a Slayer for the Code Talker, you have a Dark Ruler, or you have another powerful spell you have to negate. So you use it after you bait out the Code Talker when this is on the field. And what the card does is he cannot use any link monster. Neither player can activate the effects of link monsters on the field. You have to be careful because you cannot use Anima and SP, but this doesn't matter so much because you shut down you could shut down in theory the Code Talker, the Bomber Dragon, the Whitebinder, the Crypta. Maybe he ends on IP. There are the most interruptions of Malice are monster effects, and when you resolve this card, there might only have MTP left and maybe an hand trap their draw. Yeah, in this case, so Twinsaw is very good, and it's even going first good. You can set it with Foolish, and they have to summon ISP to banish this card before you can trigger this card, because there have to be a link 3 or higher monster on the field. But when they summon SP and banish this one, their combo is very crippled. I'm not sure. They need any extender, any strong extender to play after this. But when they go SP and to banish this card, that is a lot of advantage for you. Yeah, the card is but the card is useless against Mitsurugi, of course. But your generic Foolish Good target is Black Goats, because against Mitsurugi you can detonate, call Detonator, and your opponent cannot use it. I already talked about Black Goat, right? I think so. Yeah, I already talked about it. You can call Detonator or call Mitsurugi. Yeah, let's come to the next breaker. And this is Talents, and Talents is only strong. Talents is an one-off, and you always should play the one-off Talents because Talents is too strong. Every effect is insane of this card, and it's always forces an interrupt when your opponent has one to negate this card. But yeah, you should definitely play Talents. And the next breaker is Thrust, because you can add your Talents as an insane board breaker. You can add your Duster, you can add your Foolish, add your Lightning Storm, Slayer, Dark Ruler. You can add all your broken board breaker, so that makes Thrust even more stronger. The next breaker is Droplet, and I don't like Droplet in the Purrely deck because you have to send cards, and in the most cases you cannot afford this. You have to keep all your cards, and of course you can activate and quick spell and chain Droplet, but you only can send in the most cases one card, and this is a spell and your opponent can respond to this. And yeah, I don't recommend Droplet. But in theory, you can out a Detonator. When you send a monster, he cannot chain it. you can you have something for the Murakumo board wipe, and so I think this is not bad. And against Malice, you can negate Crypta. You have to be careful because Crypta says. Oh, I think this is another. Oh no! This is Crypta. This effect and this activation cannot be negated when this card points to a monster. So you have to be careful that you only can use Droplet on Crypta when there's no monster. At least it is an 1-for-1 trade, but yeah, you can negate the Code Talker, you can negate um, the Bomber Dragon, but usually I think this card is not very good, especially against Malice. The next cards does basically the same: Spellcard, Monster Reborn, and Foolish Return. And both cards targets a monster in the graveyard. Foolish Return, target a monster in your opponent graveyard, return it to the deck. And Monster Reborn, target a monster in either graveyard's effect, special summon this to your field, but you cannot use the effect and cannot attack with this card. And these are not bad because when they activate the Mitsurugi quick spell, the prayers, to tribute his Murakumo, and this Murakumo would trigger in the graveyard. You can chain your both quick spells to bounce it to the deck with Foolish Return, or you can special summon it to your side, so your opponent don't get the board wipe. And in theory, they are not bad. Against Malice, you can target the Whitebinder when they try to banish it with maybe Marshare, or try to reborn it, and and this is basically like I think I said, I'm not sure. I have an example with the same reason because a lot of interruptions are only alive when they trigger Whitebinder. So these cards are in theory not bad, and maybe you could play it if you want. With Monster Card Reborn, you can special summon the Murakumo to your field, and in the next turn, you can use the effect to pseudo negate a card of your opponent, but don't know if this comes up. But in theory, they are playable. And the last card, an honorable mention, is Metatronus. Only because your opponent cannot respond with the card you target with Metatronus. And this is a card, this is really good to out a Detonator. You have to play a Detonator, so you banish the Detonator, out the Twins of Eclipse, and that's why Metatronus is worth when maybe every on your local is playing Ryzul, so you could play this card, and maybe you have some targets for Mitsurugi in the deck. So I think Metatronus is not the best, but in theory you could play this card. And when you don't play Slayer and Purrely, you had a lot of space in your extra deck. You have four slots in your extra deck, and Purrely you don't need. They are all optional, and it's fine to cut all these cards and play with 11 cards in the extra deck because you don't need the space. And with Metatronus, when you don't play Slayer, you have space to play in Detonator. And maybe a target for Mitsurugi, but I'm not sure what you can play for Mitsurugi. And against Malice, it's basically the same. You play in Malice monster, Crypta play, I think Whitebinder you would play to negate, to banish, because there already comes back, and yeah, you stop the play here. And that are all breakers I found today when I look through my binder. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you a little bit, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.